Okay, so this is gonna be really, really annoying to explain. So basically, I don't know how to explain it, but basically imagine Deku being able to step back super quickly, and that's basically his point. That's all I can explain, basically, because it's literally just him, like, okay, so he's standing still, he puts a foot backwards, and he jumps, basically, and his body just moves, like, super far back, and that's his whole quirk. And say somebody just launches at him, he doesn't stop until the person stops chasing him, basically. So say he jumps backward off a cliff, a person starts chasing him, he'll literally start floating until the person stops chasing him. And since he's on a cliff, that's automatically, so he'll basically automatically start falling too. But basically, his quirk is backstep, and that's what I'm gonna call it. Now, him not, yeah, it's his backstep. He can step back super fast, and that's it. And since that's basically his whole quirk is based around him being able to dodge, so he's gonna have to train like crazy to even want to become a hero. So I guess let's proof Deku into the Quirk Doctor. Deku is sitting there all happy and excited to get his quirk, and the Quirk Doctor comes in there all serious. And the first thing Ego thinks is my son quirkless? And the Quirk Doctor reassures Inko that your son does have a quirk, but it's practically useless and super strong at the same time. He says he's able to step back. Because, like, anybody can step back. What are you talking about? And he explains it a little more better. He's like, he's able to step back, but it's more like he jumps back over, like, let's say 5 feet just by stepping back. When he activates his quirk, he can do a normal step back if he wants, but that's basically his quirk. He can just step backwards. And the Quirk Doctor says, I can see you have a All Might figure in your head. Your chances of being a hero is practically zero, so you should just give up and I guess become a police officer or something. And Inko starts yelling at the Quirk Doctor, telling him, like, why did he say that? What are you doing? And picks up Deku and says, well, Deku, you have a quirk, and as long as you have a quirk, you can become whatever you want. And Deku thinks in his head, because he's like super smart or whatever, he thinks in his head, like, so if I didn't have a quirk, you're telling me I wouldn't be able to become a hero. What if I was quirkless? He thinks in his head, but he doesn't say nothing. He gets in the car, and he automatically forgets that whole thing happened and starts jumping and getting excited that he has a quirk. He's not quirkless, because he was really scared that he was quirkless. He didn't show a sign of having any type of quirk. Now I'm going to explain how he even can step back in general. So it's more of a fusion of Inko and his dad's quirk. So basically what happens is he uses his mom's levitation to levitate his body. Then he uses the force of his dad's fire breathing. Like, let's say the way that he pushes out his fire breathing is like he has wind manipulation. He uses that, and basically what happens is he lifts up his body, and with the force of his dad's fire breathing, he pushes it back. Like, he pushes his body back. And I don't want Deku to be absolutely useless, so let's say by the time that he can get, like, by the time he gets to UA and does, like, the training or whatever, he can make other people, like, step back, basically, by, like, just, like, putting his hand out, and then they will get pushed back. So he can push other people back and push himself back, and that's all that you can do for his quirk. And the reason I'm doing this is because a few days ago, I looked up on YouTube, what if Deku had a step back quirk, like a quirk called step back. Nothing popped up, so I said, wait, I make videos, let's make a video. So here I am making what if Deku had a step back quirk at like 5 in the morning. Anyway, let's get back into the video. So, Deku goes to tell Bakugo about his quirk. Bakugo automatically just says it's weak, like, and starts trying to bully him. Deku gets scared and activates his quirk on accident, and he jumps back. And Bakugo's like, wait, is that your quirk? And he starts bursting out of laughter and saying, how are you going to become a hero with that, you Deku? And Deku's like saying, I can become a hero, watch me. And he runs up and pushes Bakugo and says, and he was about to say Kacchan, but he says, you know what, Katsuki, watch me become a hero. And he runs out, and he automatically tells his mom that he wants to like learn how to fight. And he automatically gets put in like this dojo, and he starts training on how to become a hero. And he trained not how to become a hero, but how to fight and whatever. And let's say he's learning like this like really old martial arts that nobody wants to learn anymore, so it's practically free, but it's super good because like it's a forgotten art. And the dude that's teaching Deku is like, let's say 89, and he's like trying to teach his fighting style before he dies. And luckily enough, Deku just happened to want to learn how to fight before he died. Because let's say he dies when Deku's 5. So Deku learned that type of fighting, his meditational style, and all that. So he basically become a monk, but not a monk because he didn't cut his hair and do all that stuff. But he basically learned the fighting style, and I'm going to call it Dragon Style Wind Cutter Slayer. Random name. You could tell just by my voice, had no clue I was going with that. Let's actually call it Wind Style Demon Slayer. Dragon Slayer, or Wind Fist Demon Slayer. And basically what happens is Deku puts his hands in this claw type stance. Well, he puts one of them in this claw type stance, and one of them like completely out like a high five stance. And the one with the high five is near his chest, and then the one that's like out like in a claw is more outwards, like bended halfway towards his like halfway facing upwards, making stuff as I go because I'm trying to experiment with it. And when he punches, he turns it around and he basically scratches the air, and when he punches so hard, wind like cuts form in the air. So that's what he can do, and he can push people back with his work. So, and the longer the cuts are in the air, the faster they get equals the stronger that they get. So that's that. Completely came up with that off the top of my head because I don't need Deku being weak. Because if he's weak, he's just gonna die, and that's what if over. So, and now he can actually defend himself. Let's continue. He goes to another dojo since that dude died. He didn't really learn nothing from this dojo, just got stronger. And let's time skip to the beginning of the anime, where Bakuyo's saying that like he gives off his little speech or whatever. Deku really isn't affected by it and goes on about his day. And let's see what else do I want to do. I'm gonna end it off like after 10 months of training. And if it's not long enough, it's not long enough, because I might post after this, might not. I usually say I will, then fall asleep, so I'm not making any promises. Anyway, Deku goes and he leaves, gets attacked by the sludge villain, sits around just dodging the sludge villain with backstep all over the place. Like, the sludge villain tries jumping, Deku backsteps, and that just happens until All Might comes. All Might one punches the sludge villain, and then Deku grabs onto All Might and asks, like, he stutters to, like, He's like, All Might, do you think I can become a hero with a useless quirk? And All Might's like, what is your quirk? Deku's saying, it's called backstep. Basically, and then All Might coughs up blood. Skinny All Might explains the detail, and Deku doesn't get to ask his question because, boom, explosion. And Deku looks at All Might like, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm out of time. Deku, not caring, he starts running down the fire escape using, let's say he uses backstep, like he faces backwards, and every time he hits a bar, he like just runs down the stair. And that basically is something that he learned to move faster, because when he uses backstep, he basically moves fast, like 10 times faster than a regular human. So he gets all the way there, and he's basically using backstep all the way down the street, making him not like you can, like he's going faster than you, like a regular person would be able to doing that, but you can tell where he's at. So he's not going like super fast, but he's going faster than he would if he was just running. So he gets there and he sleaze the sludge villain. He's like, this is my fault. If I didn't grab onto All Might, the sludge villain wouldn't be there. So he sees his backpack, and instead of throwing his whole backpack, he grabs his books. Like he grabs his book out of it, and he starts throwing them. It hits his eye. He realizes, oh, the eye is his weak point. So he throws his other books at the eye, and it makes the sludge villain back up enough for him to grab Bakio. He grabs Bakio, pulls Bakio out. Then All Might decides to buff up and punch the sludge villain. Deku gets scolded. Bakio storms off saying, I didn't need your help, Nord. And then Deku goes to walk home. Runs into All Might. And All Might offers Deku's quirk. Deku says, I'm going to have to think about it. And he asked All Might his question, saying, do you think I can become a hero with a useless quirk? My quirk called backstep basically allows me to step back super quickly, and that's all it can do right now. The quirk doctor said it might be able to get stronger if I train it, and I have been training it. I use it every day, and I practice with it every day to see if it can do anything new, but so far I haven't learned anything. All Might saying, yeah, you might be able to become a hero. Do you know any martial arts? Deku saying, yes, I know this one really, really old one that is super strong. And All Might says, can you show me? Deku getting into his stance and showing All Might. All Might asking Deku, are you sure that isn't this your, like, are you sure that's not your quirk? Deku saying, no, I'm 100% sure that's not my quirk, because the person that taught me it could do it too, but he's dead now, because like this was kind of his dying wish to teach somebody his quirk and like teach somebody his fighting stance before he died, and now he's dead. So Deku says, yeah, that's it. And All Might saying, yeah, you can become a hero, definitely with that fighting style. Mainly that fighting style, he murmurs under his breath. Deku saying, what's that? All Might saying nothing, and Deku going about his day. Holy crap, I'm out of breath. Hold up. I actually have something to drink near me this time. Okay, so, where was I? Deku walks home and goes to bed. Next day, he starts walking around looking for somewhere to train, running across Dagobah Beach, and he starts moving the trash to get stronger. That's like an add-on to his regular workout, which his regular workout is like 30 push-ups, a 20-minute jog, and just a lot of other stuff like 30 sit-ups, and just random stuff like that. So he starts moving the trash or whatever, and he moves it all with pretty ease until one is about to fall on him. He used back step, but he didn't realize he used it twice. He made the trash fly forward like fly away from him, but he also flew back. And then he realized, wait, the trash was right there, I'm right here, but now the trash is over there and I'm right here. And then he puts two and two together. He used his quirk on the trash. So he starts trying to do that. Like, he puts a can down in front of him and tries activating his quirk on the can, making the can fly backwards. But it takes him, let's say, all day just to make it happen once. And it still hasn't clicked to him how he does it. Let's say he does it for a week and he realizes he just imagines himself as that thing flying backwards. Like, say it's a can, he imagines himself in the position of the can flying backwards, or he like pictures the can just lifting up in the air and flying backwards. And that's basically what he does to activate his quirk. But he didn't really try doing this. He was just like picturing it flying away, but not doing it to where he activates his quirk. Basically, he was like, I have the force now, like fly away or whatever, but that's not how he activates his quirk. So he figured it out, and skip 10 months of training. He moves all trash. He's super buff now. He basically looks exactly how he looks in the picture. And he aces let's say he gets like a place above where he got in the written them in canon. So he's like 1% smarter since he was practicing with his quirk and practicing like training. So physical exam, that's where I'm going to leave it off. Shadow Master signing out. Hopefully you see me pretty soon.